The Whiskey Throttle Show, now available on the Spot Network, an independent, standalone streaming platform, live now on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Google Play, Android TV, most smart TVs, and all phones and tablets. Look for future live shows and specials only available on Spot Network. Download the app today on your favorite device.
There's all kinds of ideas floating around there. Obviously, the obvious one is to have that futures class, or even have a class where you could run it for a couple of years before you even get to the main 250 lights class. You know,
I still don't know.
But,
I mean, I think it's a great idea with experience, but it's still going to take. And you may be able to say something against it, but it's still going to take that kid's mental state to be able to put it together and put together a series and do things correct. You know, because travel is a big part of what these guys got to deal with. And just, coming at amateur, not racing every weekend, and racing every weekend and getting your body back and, recovered and going. And so, I think there needs to start being conversations that help these kids, be more comfortable earlier for sure. Because like you said, who wants to wait? No, but everybody wants to wait 3 years,
Right. I mean, and then you go, okay, well, it's a professional class. Should there be an age limit where people have to tap out? But then there's not enough room in the 450 class, right? So even if you go, all right, well, age limit now is the oldest you can be to race the lights class is 25 or 26. Well, then there's a clog in that funnel too, right? But actually, Jeremy Malott from Red Bull has a pretty good idea that I think it would just take selling it to them the idea, and that's to bring back a 250 two-stroke class that goes right in the middle. So you unclog the lights, side of things, so some older guys can go in there, and then the guys that are kind of done in the 450 side, they can actually come back down and race into that too. So you're kind of unclogging two problems with one class that's cheaper to run. It's cheaper to make it happen. He went as far as saying, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this on here, but it's a pretty good idea. I'd rather get out there and happen. But, the 450 would be almost like a F1 grid. Each manufacturer would have a set amount of slots. Like, okay, KTM has 3, Gas has 3, Husky has 3. And you can't even race that class unless you're invited into one of those areas, because you can't go just race F1. So then the guys that are off the grid, they might go back down to the 250 two-stroke class, and then somebody gets hurt, maybe they need them, they pop up or whatever,
I really like that idea. I would almost like it to be, I love that F1 idea. I've never heard that, where each team gets
Jeremy's
so
got
many
a lot
slots.
of good ideas.
But I'd like to see then the next step be the 250 class, 250F, and do a 125 class as the entry level.
Right.
Because that's a great step for kids coming out of amateur. Lighter bike, forces you to have good technique, speeds are lower, less injuries because it's a more controllable bike. I mean, you
250 two-strokes still get you.
No, I know, and I understand
good.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
The problem is these kids are moving past the 125 so quickly, you can't hardly keep them on them for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, the problem with both of those series is there's 3 manufacturers that don't make them and have no interest in making them again.
But think about this, though, and because that's exactly the first thing I said to Jeremy when he told me. I hope he doesn't get mad at me for sharing his idea, but I don't think he would. But I said that, and I work for the one
of them that makes
one
it.
that has 3 different ones that it's fine with, right? But I said that, well, yeah. But we're not taking anything away from what they already have. They still have the 2 classes that they've always had.
Yeah.
There's just another new one, and we've been progressive enough to stay with the development of the 2-stroke, in the bigger bike sizes. And just because it got added in, the companies that still have them, you can race them. I mean, if it's Honda or Cowie, we could just make that 250 two-stroke class where there's no homologation. You can ride an old one if you just want to fix it up. Obviously, there's some downside to that as far as competitiveness, but we're not saying you can't, and you're more than welcome. But we're also not taking anything away. We're not going, we're taking this out, so only 2-stroke people can ride,
See, I'd love to see that 250 class be just open displacement, just 250s, 2-stroke, 4-stroke, whatever you want. Because I think for a privateer guy or someone that doesn't have factory support, you put them on a 252 stroke. It's a little bit tougher to ride, right? They're a little less forgiving, but right away you're at a level playing field horsepower wise.
I think, and I get what you're saying, and that's not a bad idea. But when you think about it, like, so you got 4-stroke sound, 2-stroke sound. The crowd's going to know it's a different bike. They're not going to be going quite as fast as the 450 class, so it's acceptable. It's cheaper for everybody that's involved to get a 252 stroke, get it set up, get it out there and race it. 250F, you got to develop it pretty good to make it as good as a 252 stroke with a pipe and silencer, probably. Like it's, so it's one of those things that, and I think the crowd would really, and I think it would generate a whole new resurgence in 2-stroke life in the industry.
I agree. I think there's something like that needs to be done.
Something needs to be done, and this would have been the time to do it. I mean, I know this year's hard to pull anything off, but things are so kind of upside down right now. Now's the time to make new rules, new changes. Like, let's think outside of the box, and let's, like, if we're just kind of getting through 2021 because of the situation with COVID, for 2022 and beyond, provided we're more normal, let's make some good changes. Let's shake it up. Let's make some cool changes to where we can create some new avenues.
Dude, I love it. If you push forward with any of that, let me know, because I'll help do whatever I can do.
He'll dust off his old 2-stroke.
Yeah. I'll make you a bet. You two got to show up, though.
Yeah, no.
Oh, jeez. No bets.
Thanks for watching the Whiskey Throttle Show. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell to get alerts for all the latest content. Follow us on Twitter at W_Throttle_Show and on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Whiskey Throttle Show.